Hey bro, I know you've been trying to increase your testosterone, but do you even know why you're trying to increase your testosterone? Now, most likely you're gonna tell me, yeah, I'm trying to have more muscle. I'm trying to have stronger jawline. I'm trying to feel more like a man. Well, what you're trying to get is not this end goal of having 1,000 nanogram per deciliter. You're not trying to get a high number of testosterone. What you want is the result of that high testosterone, right? I mean, on my wall right there, I've written 1,000 nanogram per deciliter. But what does that really mean? The goal I've got you right here is 1,000 nanogram per deciliter the end goal, or is it masculine gene expression? Now, masculine gene expression is you looking jacked, you having a strong jawline, you having a masculine bone structure, you feeling horny, and all that good stuff, right? Well, if your goal is to optimize masculine gene expression, then it is very important that you understand this. And to increase masculine gene expression, you basically need two things. The first is testosterone. You already know that one, and you probably already know how to increase your testosterone. But I think even more important than testosterone is androgen receptors. This little thing right here. Now, androgen receptors, I'll make a little drawing for you guys. Androgen receptors, I'm gonna draw a little cell over here. This is the cytoplasm of the cell. Over here you got the nucleus of the cell. Well, imagine outside of the cell right here, there's a bunch of testosterone. Yeah, these little circles over here are all testosterone. I don't know if you know this already, but in your blood, you've got testosterone, but most of the testosterone is bound with sex hormone binding globulins. Sex hormone binding globulins. Now, SHBG. And those, when they bind with the testosterone, well, the testosterone now cannot go into the cell when they're bound with the sex hormone binding globulins. But over here, you still have testosterone that is free, unbound testosterone. And it is that testosterone that's able to diffuse through the cell membrane, go inside the cell, and that's where it gets tricky. Inside the cell, let's say those little squares are androgen receptors. Well, once the testosterone goes inside the cell, if there's not enough androgen receptors, if the androgen receptors are not sensitive enough, you're not going to get any masculine gene expression whatsoever. So, not an increase in muscle growth, not a better bone structure and whatever. You're not going to get anything. But if they're sensitive enough, that testosterone is going to bind with the little androgen receptor over here, then go into the cell and into the nucleus. And into the nucleus, you've got your DNA. And the androgen receptors is going to turn on the masculine gene that will make you more masculine. So, and once that's turned on, then it creates protein outside the cell with ribosome, and then goes outside the cell, and then you get your masculine gene expression. But the most important part of all of this is basically over here, when you've got your androgen receptors binding with the testosterone and then turning on masculine gene receptors inside the nucleus. So this means that the limiting factor in that case would be androgen receptors. So if you don't have enough androgen receptors, it doesn't really matter if you double your testosterone. Yeah, maybe you're gonna get a little bit more masculine gene expression, but what would be much more efficient is increasing your androgen receptors, increasing the amount, and to do that, basically increasing your androgen sensitivity, there's a few things you can do. Now, the first one I've highlighted over here is exercise. And even better than that is heavy weight exercise, weightlifting. That's a type of exercise that has shown to increase androgen sensitivity by the most. So at least go weightlift 3 days in a week. Everyone should be able to do that. A bunch of people make diet a religion. Now, yeah, you can be carnivore, you can be vegan, but the best diet, from what I can understand, to increase testosterone and androgen sensitivity is basically a caveman diet. So you would eat things that your caveman ate. So that would be a lot of meat, no processed food, no processed food. It would be fruits, vegetables, and it would be a little bit of nuts, basically. And with this, if you're only eating this meat with a lot of cholesterol, because cholesterol is what creates testosterone and all the other androgens, well, with this diet, you will be optimizing androgen sensitivity and testosterone. So it's like a double win. Now, third one, estrogenics. Estrogenics is basically artificial estrogen. Nowadays, there's a bunch of artificial estrogen everywhere. Things like phytoestrogen, found in soy and cannabis, lavender. There's other estrogenic substances like phthalates, like BPA, BPS, basically all the plastic stuff. It can leak inside your food, inside your water, and when you touch it, let's say you were wearing a polyester clothing, which polyester is basically plastic, well, that plastic, let's say you're running, you're sweating, it can diffuse inside your body, go in your blood, and then those estrogenic substances like phthalates can bind with these androgen receptors, so basically lowering your androgen sensitivity, because instead of the androgen receptors binding with the testosterone, it will be bound with an estrogen, an estrogenic substance like the polyester, the plastic. So it's important that you avoid all of those. Now, I made a video about estrogenic. It's the last video I made, so if you want to go check that out, you can. But the fourth one, which I think a lot of you guys will like this one, is sexual abstinence. So basically, semen retention. Now, semen retention for only the span of 1 week is found to increase testosterone by 145%. That was in a Chinese study, but now this is more anecdotal. Everything I talked about was pure facts, but this one is a little bit of my understanding of the subject. But sexual abstinence will increase androgen sensitivity. Now, there's a research with animals on mating season and when they're off mating season, and when they were off mating season, they had higher androgen sensitivity than when they were on mating season, which is a little bit weird when you think about it, right? Testosterone was high during mating season and it was lower off mating season, but androgen sensitivity was higher off mating season. So, and the difference is basically one was having a lot of sex and one was having barely any sex, right? So if you're able to emulate that off mating season by, let's say, not fapping, by not ejaculating, if you've got a girl right now and you're having sex, well, you can go on semen retention. You're not forced to always ejaculate, right? You can hold on to that semen. And now there's no research done on this. It would be quite hard to make a research on this, but I'm pretty sure that if you were to use semen retention, you can be in a relationship or not in a relationship, you're going to be increasing your androgen sensitivity. Think about it. Your body doesn't know the difference between the virtual world and the real world. So if you're watching adult content, if you're fapping almost every single day, your body is thinking, okay, I'm reproducing a bunch, like I'm having sex with a bunch of beautiful women every single day. And doing that, your body's gonna be like, I don't need to turn on masculine genes because, I mean, I'm masculine enough. Look at me, I'm reproducing every single day. And doing that will lead to your downfall. It will lead to androgen sensitivity lowering. It's just like dopamine sensitivity. Maybe you understand that one better. If you were to smoke weed, eat junk food, play video games, Well, doing all of those activities increases dopamine, and then to get the same it, you need more dopamine because you're less sensitive to dopamine. Well, it's the same thing with androgen. You want to be sensitive to androgen. Now, that's why I believe sexual abstinence can actually increase androgen sensitivity. And like I talked about, there's a strong link between dopamine and androgen sensitivity and testosterone. Meditating, avoiding bad habits like playing video games, watching Netflix, eating junk food, well, you're going to be more sensitive to dopamine. And being sensitive to dopamine has a strong link to being sensitive to androgens and also having high testosterone. So that one I'm less sure about. There's not enough studies on it. But those four, if you can tackle them and use them as your advantage, I swear to you, you will be able to optimize your masculine gene expression. So you're not going to become a whole different man, but your genes, your DNA, there is masculine gene expression inside your DNA, and you're simply not turning them on enough. That's why nowadays you look at the average man with bitch titties. He's literally growing like a female. If you want that, act like them. Act like the average human being eating junk food every single week. But if you don't want that, if you want to actually look like a man, follow for more tips. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Mwah!